My question this morning is not so much about the cognitive understanding of what you have just said, because I believe I'm at a place cognitively that I understand that. It's more in the application of it, and specifically, it's about the resistance piece. Because one of the things that I've started doing for myself, and after having listened and attended seminars, is to ask myself questions that I know will have good feeling answers. And I can do that, and when I'm asking those questions right here and right here, it feels really good. The answers, just knowing the answers are coming, feels good. But then, as I've heard you say before, as you start moving towards that, you're going to find the resistance is going to show up within a certain amount of time. You're going to know where those blocks are, and you're going to start feeling it. And when I get into that, it's almost as if I have forgotten everything I've ever heard about the law of attraction. I can get myself wrapped up into the bad feelings, if you want, feeling like a victim, feeling all these horrible things. And it seems to take, for me at least, much longer than I want to let go of the resistance or to start going downstream or to let go of the oars, whatever words you want to use. My question is...
You want to use all of those words.
My question is, how can I more easily stay up to speed with my desires and not getting so wrapped up in the resistance of all of it?
Well, we've noticed, and you have too, you just said it very well, that the more specific you get, the more opportunity for you to feel the resistance there is, because with specifics comes faster moving stream. So if you manage to if you have this pattern of thought about something which has got you pointed in the opposite direction of what you want, and then you get really specific about it, which just makes the stream go faster and faster and faster, now you've got yourself up against the rocks and you're feeling not good. And so that's why we're wanting to simplify your approach to all of this by just saying to you, you have two choices right here, right now, to feel worse or better. And so as you begin applying your thoughts with that singular intention, we want you to hold in your mind the vision of paddling upstream. In other words, I'm in that place, the resistance is strong, and I'm aware it's strong, and I don't want it to be strong. I really don't want it to be strong. I should be doing better at this than I am. I've been at this for a long time. I've been to several seminars. I've listened to hundreds of tapes. I should be getting this. All paddling upstream, and then you say, wait a minute, I don't have to work so hard at this. And just in a statement like that, you stop this. So your goal is to just try to find something that just causes you to stop paddling that way. In other words, it's almost like withdrawing your oars. And we think what's happened, and the reason that we've been speaking the way we have this morning is because you're like so many people, you think, well, here I am here, and I should be over here, so not only am I not where I want to be, but I need to go way over here. So it just feels like so much to do, and that's why you're working so hard at it. Where if you could just stop and realize, I don't have to get way over there. San Diego's still 400 miles away. I just have to get pointed in the direction of San Diego. And I don't even have to turn this around. I just have to stop going that way, and the current will turn me around. And when you get that, when you get that in your mind, all I have to do is stop the struggle against. And this is really the message that we're wanting you to understand about the art of allowing. That stream is flowing powerfully. And everything that you've ever lived that didn't feel good was your misguided, you never do it on purpose, effort at pushing against something. And now you understand that cognitively, as you say, it will be easier and easier for you to just stop doing that. You may have heard us say, if you just stop doing that thing you're doing, then what you want would come about. And that thing you're doing is justifying, explaining, beating the drum. Every subject is two subjects. And on one end of it is what you want, and on the other end of it is what you don't want. And sometimes when you think you're talking about how much you want something, what you're really doing is talking about how bad you feel in not getting it. And so what you want to do is not worry so much about the subject at hand and be aware of the feeling in your belly. And when you don't feel good, do everything in your power to make the not go away. Do everything in your power to just release the tension. The other night, Esther had laid down. She wanted to sleep. And as she was laying in her bed, she had her hands sort of tucked under her legs. And then she turned over on her side and put her hands between her legs in a sort of fetal position. And then she crossed her arms tight across her chest. And she was just sort of all balled up in a knot in her effort at controlling her life, so to speak. And as she laid there for a while, finally she heard us say, "Let go. Let go." And it was not an easy thing for her to unclench her fists and turn her palms upward. She kept wanting to tuck them under somewhere. It was as if the planet was flying too fast and she might fly off. It took some conversation with herself to begin breathing deeply and just let go. Just let go. Just let go. And this is the thing. We so want to convince you, all of you, that what you want is there and that you're moving toward it. And if you'll just let go, you'll go.
So is it in the asking of the questions that have the good feeling answers that I'm getting myself caught up? I mean,
maybe, but usually not, unless you're just getting really, really specific. We think you're trying too hard at this. We think that you are trying to do the deliberate creative process rather than the art of allowing process. We think that we have not yet fully convinced you that the you that is in the process of becoming has in large part become. And that as you chill and follow the stream, follow the feeling that feels best, that you cannot help but get going in the direction of it, you see. You are source energy. And so when you love yourself, oh, you're flowing. When you love somebody else, oh, you're flowing. But when you see wrongdoing in yourself or others, you're paddling upstream. And there's no way you can right that. In other words, you can't be right enough to make that feel good. If someone has wronged you, they've lied to you, they've cheated you, they've misled you, they've told you things that they knew weren't true, and you went along with it, and then you find out later and you feel all balled up about it, you feel deceived, you feel disvalued, you feel taken advantage of, you feel victimized. Even though anybody that's watching, if they knew the facts, would agree with you, still in all of that, you're pointed upstream. And you cannot win under those conditions. So finally you have to come around to the idea that you'd rather feel good than be right. And when you withdraw from the thoughts that don't feel good, sometimes you can just say, well, that didn't feel good. What else can I think about? Well, that didn't feel good. What else can I think about? Well, that didn't feel good. What else can I think about? And as you do that again and again, so that you turn and turn and turn on subject after subject, before you know it, you're just flowing along so well. We think that what happens to so many of you, and it's what was going on with Esther in her tension that we were describing, is so many of you have this idea, and it's erroneous, it's not fact-based, it isn't accurate, it has nothing to do with the knowledge that you had when you came forth, and it defies all of the laws of the universe, but many of you hold to it. And that is that I've got to control the conditions of my life somehow in order to be a deliberate creator. And what we're wanting you to understand is that you have no business whatsoever attempting to control even one condition of your life. What you're wanting to control is your position in the stream. The stream will take care of the conditions.
So then, if I use that internal questioning process that I know will feel good when I'm not feeling so good, is that then creating additional resistance to where I am? I'm saying I'm not feeling good here, so I'm asking a question to make myself feel better.
Well, for example, let's say that you're really in a knot, and you ask the question, am I ever going to feel better? And the answer is, of course. Or you ask the question, am I valued by source energy? And you feel better, because of course the answer is yes. You say, am I going to get what I want today? That might not feel so good, because So this process of turning in the stream may very well be about asking questions to which you know the positive, good feeling answer. And so the key to turning in the stream is asking the questions that you know will turn you. But what we want you to hear from us is, if you'll let your intent be to turn in the stream, we think you'll ask different questions than if your intent is to turn your boat and get all the way to what you want. And what happens to so many of you is that you are so much wanting that you are so miserable over here without it, that you feel urgent about getting over there. And we say that urgency's always got you pointed in the wrong direction. Hey, here's a good example. Have you ever been in very slow-moving traffic? Jerry and Esther came through California, and so there was some slow-moving traffic in a lot of parts of the state. Have you ever been in slow-moving traffic? Have you ever been in slow-moving traffic that was so slow-moving it wasn't moving at all? And then it starts to move just a little bit. Can't you feel that feeling of relief? Now, you're used to going 70 miles an hour. And you're not going 70 miles an hour. You're only going 20 miles an hour. But it feels so much better than not moving because there's hope now. And that's the thing that we're wanting you to get the sense of. Of course, the more you turn, the more you deliberately let go of the oars so that you're not paddling against the current, then the faster and faster and faster your current will begin to move on subject after subject, until before you know it, you'll be feeling so much exhilaration that it won't even occur to you that you have to move, you have to pose questions to yourself that get you turned around because you're already turned around. Now you're just romping and going with the stream. But any time that you feel that you need to ask that question, we want you to just stop and say to yourself, what can I do to just cease doing what I'm doing that's got me pointed that way? And we'll tell you something easy to remember. What you're always doing is defending, justifying, or rationalizing. That's what you're always doing when you're pointing upstream. Jerry and Esther have this ritual where they hook the car up behind the coach before they leave. It's a very long contraption once they get it all hooked together. And Esther likes to get all nice and straight before they hook it up so that they can just pull straight ahead and everything in the hitch will lock in just the way it is supposed to. And Jerry likes to just hook it on any old way and figure it out later. And Esther worries because she's behind the driver's seat in the monster bus, and as she's there, sometimes she is concerned that she can make the turn and miss that tree without dragging the car over the picnic table. In other words, there's a lot to consider. And Jerry's out there on the ground, and he has a different perspective. And of course, both of them think that their perspective is the most accurate, valid perspective. And so Esther teases Jerry all the time, let's do it the easy way. And Jerry likes to do it the adventurous way, which sometimes he thinks is the easier way, but Esther doesn't think it's so easy. And so sometimes while Esther's getting ready or readying the coach inside, Jerry will be outside hooking the car on while Esther's not looking. And then he will announce to her on the walkie-talkie, I've already hooked the car on, so I'll just guide you out of here. And Esther will look out and she'll see a big tree right there and she'll think, I hope I can turn. And then she'll think, I hope I can't. I hope we have to take that car off. And we say, how is it that you get in competition for rightness? In other words, and it's something about needing to control conditions. It's something about measuring yourself against all other humans. It's something about wanting to be valedictorian. It's something about wanting to get all of the marks on the chart. It's something about being measured about others and only one can be in first place. It's something about that. But what we want you to understand is that the stream is there for everyone. And there is no possibility that all of you will not get everything that you are wanting. And so when Esther came to the abrupt realization, it startled her so much she laughed till she thought she would wet her pants as she sat there in the seat. I would rather be right than feel good. And in my rightness, I'm pointed upstream. And you do that very much, and things don't go very well for you, you see. And so, did we get there for you?
You did.